planetary alignments to give it its energy or its benefits. I'm going to erase the staircase here. We're making our own. Okay, so we got to remember this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you also see the significance of the 8-pointed. In Babylon, Ishtar was an 8-pointed star. Babylon, because it took her 8 years to make this 5-pointed star. Ishtar, goddess of war, keeper of the tablets of destiny. She was represented as an 8-pointed star, and that's where you get the word asterisk from. And the 8 years it takes to make this 5-pointed star, 13 is her number. And that's why this was significant, because 13 is the house, is her house. So once again, you got the 13 being significant in the Babylonian tablets of destiny. Now this 2x2 square that they designed into a 1-mile square. This 1-mile square right here in the center is what Indianapolis was built upon. This is a 1-mile square. This is a 2-mile. This is a 6x6 foundation. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. On this 1-mile square, this is where crossroads is that we was talking about earlier, at the sun and the meridian. This was the crossroads. This is where they put the circle, the magic circle, or the circle city. And right there is where they put the symbol or the image of the Roman god of war, or Enlil, the consort of this war goddess. Right there. Smack dab center in square number 13. Okay. So you have the sacred union of the sun and the moon. Right there you have the obelisk. That's why you have the goddess on top of the obelisk, because the goddess is always in her superior sexual position on top of the god. And that's where you get the missionary position and all that, because back in the days they realized that the Canaanite religion, the woman was representative of the goddess and should always be in her sexually superior position. In this image here, she was representative of the moon, and the male was representative of the sun, and their sacred union caused the fertility of the earth. So this image here, looks familiar, is actually the triple deity, triple goddess, their trinity. The Canaanites called it the face or revelation of Bel. Face of Bel is interesting, because when you put the 3 images together, you see that it actually is the revelation of Bel, or the face of Bel, or the image of Bel. And it's the same thing as the capital, the obelisk, and the federal triangle. So getting back to this magic square here, we see the magic square, the center square is 13. Now the interesting thing that they did is they made this 1-mile square into a 5-mile square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a poor example, but the center here they made into a 5x5 square. So this 1-mile square, they made it into a 5x5. That's a little bit better. So they made this into a 5x5 square. Once again, this is the circle, and that's the obelisk. Okay, so what you see is they had the 6x6 foundation, and on the 2x2 donation, they did the Babylonian formula, magic, sacred geometry, whatever you want to call it, to make this 1-mile square in the center, this number 13, put that on there so you can remember 13 is significant. And on this 1 mile square, they laid a 5 by 5, and that is a Mars magic square, which is significant when you understand that they, in the center square of the home of the god, they have the obelisk, the representative of the male phallic, and then they have the Roman goddess of war in her sexually superior position. So you have the Roman goddess of war on top of the erect phallic symbol of the Roman god of war in his home, and his magic square, a 5 by 5, which is bad enough. When you remember, this is the 13 of the goddess. This center square where this obelisk is, guess what number it is? 13. So you have 113 stacked right on top of the other, because this big thing right here, this area right here is 13. But also on the 5 by 5 square, no matter how you put the numbers, 13 always comes up in the middle. So on a 5 by 5 square, no matter how you line the numbers up, number 13 always comes up right in the center. So you have the Babylonian tablets of destiny, the 13 house zodiac, which is her dwelling place. And on the center of this 5 by 5 square, you have a 13. So you have a 13 on top of a 13. You see what I'm saying? This 1 mile square is 5 by 5, this Mars square, the center square is 13. And that 1 mile square is stuck directly on top of the house of the goddess, which is 13. So you have a 13 on top of a 13. Now the interesting thing about this is, when you understand the significance of 13, is you have a 6 by 6 foundation. You have a 2 by 2 devil square. Let me move over here a little bit. This is a sun square. This is a devil square. Okay. Right here, you have a 5 by 5 Mars square. Okay. So the interesting thing here is that you have the 6 by 6 sun square, which equals 666. So that's the beast square, like what we call it, 666. The 2 by 2 devil square, which is the Babylonians used for all their fortune telling and seeing into the future and planning ahead and blah blah blah, opening the doorway. And in the center you have 1 mile square that is designed into a 5 by 5, where the center square is also 13. So you have a 13 is on top of hers, which is what they're talking about, a sacred union. Because it is a sacred union. It's a sacred union between the sun and the moon. It's a sacred union between the Roman god and goddess of war, the Babylonian god and goddess of war. Close this out, so I can give you a better idea of 5 by 5. This is 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is 13. This is 13. And this center square here is 13. So you have the male on top of the female, the 13 male on top of the 13 female, where the obelisk is, where the circle city is. And the capital sits over here on the edge, it's a stairway going down. So you see right here that you have the 3 steps. And I'll make it easier to see right here. This is the 6